Hi, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It's Mr. Grove. Again, your basic first aid instructor. Um, at the end of this presentation, you'll have a quiz. I say you'll have a couple questions. What that does also is it counts for your attendance. So it's critical that you do make sure you get to the very end and you answer the questions. You'll see the questions. They'll be on your portal. 5, 10 questions each week, again for attendance and for the information that you just covered. We're going to be looking at responding to emergencies today. We're going to be going through the check, call, care situation, and let's get started.
Whether you realize it or not, you play a major role in the EMS system. The EMS system, that's the Emergency Medical Services System, is a network of resources that includes 911 dispatchers, police officers, firefighters, doctors, emergency medical personnel, and you. Once you recognize an emergency, you have a choice to make. Do I help? There are 4 actions you can take to affect the outcome for an ill or injured person. Recognizing that an emergency exists, deciding to take action, activating the EMS system, and giving care until EMS personnel arrive and take over. I'm here to help you prepare for that. But the decision to take action, that's all yours. Emergencies can be stressful and scary. When faced with one, you may worry about doing something wrong, catching a disease, or being sued. Or you might doubt it's really an emergency, assume it's already under control, or be squeamish about blood or other unpleasantness on the scene. These are all reasons someone may be hesitant to act during an emergency. So how do you prevent these thoughts from stopping you? First of all, know the facts. Contracting a disease while helping an injured or ill person is extremely unlikely. You can protect yourself and others by using personal protective equipment like gloves or breathing barriers when available. If available, nitrile gloves are the most preferred latex-free gloves. Also, just because there are a few people or even an entire crowd gathering at the scene of an emergency, that doesn't mean anyone is actually helping. Most states have Good Samaritan laws that protect people like us against claims of negligence when giving care in good faith. Of course, these laws vary from state to state. All of these laws were created to encourage people like you to help others in emergency situations. Finally, and most importantly, you can help. Here, you'll learn how to help using the check, call, care process. When in doubt, remember, doing something is always better than doing nothing.
Okay, now we're going to go through some situational scenes, and stay tuned. Here we go. How missions work. This is a tutorial showing you. We're going to go through this relatively fast. You'll see the positioning. Talk to people. Make choices. And I'm speeding through this because we're going to go through it together. Here we go. We're going to start the mission at this time.
This looks like an emergency. In any emergency situation, follow the emergency action steps. Check, call, care. Before rushing to help an injured or ill person, size up the scene and form an initial impression. Use your senses to gather information that will help you determine whether the scene is safe for you to enter. Take note of unusual noises, signs, odors, appearances, or behaviors. As you look around, ask yourself, what happened to cause the emergency? How many people are involved? What condition is the person in? Is there anyone else available to help? Part of doing this scene size-up is forming an initial impression of what is wrong with the person. Does the person appear ill or have any immediate identifiable injuries? Is the person moving? Does the person have signs of a life-threatening injury or illness, such as trouble breathing or severe life-threatening bleeding? The information you gather as you size up the scene and form an initial impression will help you decide what to do next. Check the rest of the scene by looking to the right and the left. Use the arrows on either side of the screen to look around. Those avocados are way overpriced, but that's not a safety concern. Now check the rest of the room. Select the arrow on the left once to return to the center of the room and twice to check the left side of the room. Everything looks okay over here. No apparent hazards. Good work. There don't appear to be any hazards here. The scene is safe. Barry is awake and moving with no signs of severe life-threatening bleeding. Now that you've checked the scene and formed an initial impression, you need to gather more information to finish checking the injured or ill person. Select Barry to move a little closer and ask him some questions. Notice the white circles on screen? These indicate available action menus. You can select actions from these menus to interact with the person on screen and provide care. First, you need to obtain consent from Barry. Select Obtain Consent from the menu near Barry's head. That's right. Before giving care to an injured or ill person, you must obtain consent. To obtain consent, explain who you are, your level of training, what you see and what you plan to do, and ask if you can help. If a person verbally or visually agrees to care, this is known as expressed consent. If a person is unconscious or unable to respond, this is implied consent. If you're providing care to a child or infant, obtain consent from a parent or guardian if one is present. If one is not present and it is an emergency, then consent is implied. Once you obtain consent, you should interview the person to learn more about signs and symptoms.
Yes, please.
Nice job. You've obtained consent to help Barry. In a sudden illness emergency, obtaining consent might sound like, "You seem ill, and I'm trained to respond to sudden illness emergencies. I'm going to help you. Is that okay?" Next, ask Barry some questions to learn more about what's wrong and determine if you need to call 911. Select Interview Barry from the menu near Barry's head to get started. When dealing with an injured or ill person, you'll want to gather any information that will help you provide care. For interviewing someone, try to remember the acronym SAMPLE, which stands for Signs and Symptoms, Allergies, Medications, Pertinent Medical
Recall,
History,
make sure you
last
understand
food or drink,
sample.
and events
Very
leading up to
important.
the incident.
Sample.
First, look for signs. Signs are what you hear, see, smell, and feel. This might be a broken bone or, in this situation, a man who appears tired and weak. Then, ask about symptoms. Symptoms are what the person you're helping is experiencing, like pain in an arm or a racing heartbeat, or in this case, a feeling of dizziness and disorientation. Next, you should ask about allergies and medications, as these might have a part in the situation or could interfere with care. Next, ask for any pertinent medical history that might factor into the problem, when they last ate or drank something, and what happened leading up to the incident. Anything that might make sense with the particular illness or injury so that you can more effectively provide care.
I feel really dizzy and tired. No. 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 I haven't eaten since dinner last night. Had meatloaf and green beans. I was shopping with my son, and I wanted to go home and eat, and then I got dizzy and had to sit down.
Barry appears weak and said he is tired and dizzy. This means it is time to call 911. Throughout these missions, you'll learn more about when specific injuries or illnesses need advanced medical attention. When in doubt, make the call. For this emergency, you should send the cashier to call 911. Take a step back by selecting the back arrow in the lower left corner of the screen. During missions, you can contact EMS personnel yourself by selecting the phone icon at the bottom of the screen to call 911. In most emergencies, however, it is better to send a bystander to call instead. If you find yourself alone with an injured or ill person and you need to call 911, try shouting for help first. To shout for help during a mission, select the megaphone icon at the bottom of the screen. Select the cashier Bruno to talk to him and send him to call 911. Yeah, no problem. Nice job. And remember, when sending a bystander to call 911, it's always a good idea to also have them grab a first aid kit if one is available. Now, let's listen in on that 911 phone call. Normally, you would start providing care for Barry while Bruno is on the phone with 911. But for now, listen in on that call to learn more about the kinds of questions you'd be asked by a 911 operator.
This is 911. Where is your emergency? 450 West Ravenswood. I'm at the Green Galores supermarket.
What is the phone number you are calling from?
This is the store's landline, 555-312-1234.
What is the problem? Tell me exactly what happened.
A customer is complaining of feeling dizzy and weak. He fainted a few minutes ago.
How old is he?
He looks like he's in his late 30s, maybe early 40s.
Is he responsive or unresponsive now?
He's responsive now.
Is he having any difficulty breathing?
No, he's not having trouble breathing. He's breathing fine.
I'm sending paramedics to help you now.
Good work. Next, you perform what's called a head-to-toe check. Before starting, tell the person what you're going to do. Then check one part of the body at a time, moving straight down the body from head to toe as you look and feel for signs of injury or illness. From here, you remain with Barry to monitor his condition until help arrives. We'll stop here and review what you learned about the check and call steps in the check, call, care process.
Okay, we're going to return home. We're going to go through some basic things on a questionnaire on check, call, care. Please review the video again. And remember, Good Samaritan law in Pennsylvania has gone to court but has never prosecuted an individual that tried to an attempt to revive, save an individual. So that's the Good Samaritan law. Again, this check, call, care, 911 is critical. Okay, understand the scene situation, that the person is safe. And through this process, we will also be learning CPR. Please, again, at any point in time, forward questions to me via the portal or more so via email, and I will get back to you as fast as possible. I wish everybody take care. I'm going to stop the recording. And again, this is our first recording together. Hopefully you can watch this once or twice. And again, don't forget to go to the portal and answer the questions. So that will serve as your attendance and also reference if you did watch the video. Take care. Have a great day. That was 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Most of them will be in that 12, 15-minute range. Take care.